Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman here. And we are broadcasting, as you can see, remote meeting that took place just before this, but we did not want to miss this next guest. And it is John Walsh, who's the CEO of the Michigan Manufacturers Association. And John, it is so good to jump on with you. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Greetings. Thanks for having me back.
You are a veteran now. There was a while there I was introducing you to the new CEO.
That's right. It's been almost 2 years, which is hard to believe. You have that COVID time in there, but it'll be 2 years in January.
Boy, that's the truth. It is. And as is usually the case, places where you land, there's been a lot going on. So let's talk a little bit about that. What's been happening in the last few months?
So it's been very busy. Our members are reporting a lot of good news, meaning orders are up. There's demand. They're happy and excited about that. The troublesome side, though, is the supply chain mixed with workforce. They have orders, but perhaps not enough folks coming back to work to meet the orders. And then there's just a variety of kinks in the supply chain. They're getting a little better day by day, but our members have to ask one another in the supply chain, let alone customers overseas, for a little lenience, because it takes a bit longer sometimes to get things out.
Well, the other thing that's coming with this is a little bit of inflation, because, when there's a shortage of supply, obviously demand goes up, so do prices.
Absolutely. Fuel has gone up about $1.50. It's hitting us as citizens, but it really is hitting the manufacturing industry. And then steel is just one product that's gone up about 4 times since the beginning of the year. Starting to see a little bit of relief thanks to some action at the federal level, but that'll take a couple of months. And then wages are going up, and that, of course, and that's fine, but it will ultimately hit the price of the product as well.
I don't know in my brief history here on the planet ever seen when prices go up, them come down much, not proportionally. So what are your folks envisioning?
Well, to that very point, just on wages alone, the adjustment that's occurred over the last couple of years, that's not going to go away. There's not an employer who will have agreed to a higher wage for the work that folks are performing, and then suggested that it should go down because the economy has improved. So that will hit the prices, but we're hoping to manage that. There's some belief from the National Association of Manufacturers and some of the federal economists that think as the supply chain smoothens, that will keep inflation, won't stop it, but it'll keep it at bay. And we're hopeful for that.
So it'll stop where it is, at least, which would be a little relief. So we got to kind of get used to the new rate, I guess, as much as anything. So. Right. So, John, tell me, just because of the shortage of supply, are we seeing revenues drop also in your membership?
Well, it depends on how they book their revenues and cash come in. Because they have such heavy orders, life looks pretty good, but that may require some increased financing costs while you're borrowing against a line of credit until you're paid on a product when it's delivered. So. Overall, what we're hearing from our members, small and large, is they're going to do pretty good, but they don't know how to quantify that yet because still a couple more months in the end of the year.
Well, and if any of them are exporting, you get into that currency exchange, you get into, are you using the XM Bank and a whole lot of others? It's kind of a quagmire formula.
Yeah, we need an economist on the show.
You're absolutely right. Well,
but they feel good.
You have had a few causes for celebration and a few events. What's been going on in that line?
So we've tried a couple of live events this year. We just had a legislative day in September that was well attended. That's when members come in and visit with their elected officials. What I always like to say is members expect me or our government affairs team, but they actually are quite attentive when somebody from their district shows up. So we brought in about 100 folks and went and visited with members and had a presentation from Quentin Messer, very successful. Tonight, we're going to have 200 people over at the Radisson Center to support our Excellence Awards program, where we recognize some of the leaders in our industry and we will announce the coolest thing made in Michigan from a list of 10. It's voted on by the citizens. I don't even know who the winner is. There is a staff member here who does. I do not. So I'll be as surprised as the rest of the folks.
So this is really an innovative award. What's the coolest thing made, right?
Absolutely. It can be, there is a beer that was nominated. That's in the top 10. There's an auger. There are very particular industrial parts, extraordinarily strong magnets that are used for a variety of purposes. When you read through it, sometimes you understand it immediately as a consumer. Other times you have to be in the industry, automotive or aerospace, to understand it. But it is, I'm telling you, it's awesome, the things that are made here in the state.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting because I talked to a number of people who own dealerships, and we're talking about where they're making money, speaking to the automotive industry. And a lot of it is moved to the back room, maintenance, people taking care of their cars, and of course, used cars. So how does that affect the people who manufacture as suppliers of the automotive industry who have cars sitting, waiting for chips still?
Yeah, and that's a toughie. And we're still evaluating with the membership what that means to the overall industry. The cars will sell eventually, but at some point you're going to have 22 models that will, we think in early next year, the chip crisis will start to soften. We'll start to see more production on its way. But you're going to have 2020 models still available, cars in particular, because the autos have accentuated the trucks, bumping into the 2021 models that are already appearing. So there could be some good deals for individuals. For the industry, it's going to take a good year or two to adjust to this anomaly that we've had.
Yeah, absolutely. How are they feeling about getting talent? Is that still a major issue?
It's a really big issue. And part of it is the unemployment benefits, but those have ended for 500,000 individuals. So we're starting to see a slight uptick in applications for jobs, but there's still a lot of uncertainty about schools and daycare. And if you're a single parent or a two-parent working household, it's pretty difficult to make a production job when you are in fear of a note from your teacher that says we've had an exposure in the classroom and we need to quarantine and we'll learn remotely. So that's a big impact. And we're trying to work with the legislature and the private sector to address the daycare issue as aggressively as we can. And schools seem to be, they are figuring this out, working with their boards and their parents to try and find a way to benefit the children and their parents.
Well, everybody's kind of forced into creativity, which is not always a bad thing,
Absolutely, right. That is absolutely true. I wonder, 5 years from now, to talk about what took root, what did we discover. We can carp about all the challenges before us, but we also can look at with wonder what's coming next.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And how you prepare for whatever is coming next, we don't know, but I'm sure we'll be resilient. John Walsh, CEO of the Michigan Manufacturers Association. Good luck tonight at dinner, by the way.
Thank you so much. Should have put on my tuxedo for this interview.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be beautiful. All right, John. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Appreciate you joining us.
Yep. Take care.
You've been watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman. Stick around. We'll be back with